In this video, I'm going to be talking about telescoping series, which is a type of series that you may encounter now and then. So if you have a series in this form where the denominator can be broken up into multiple terms, that's what we're going to do by using partial fraction decomposition, which you learned back in our techniques of integration. So you may want to go back and review those videos, review those notes. Go to the organic chemistry tutor, find a good video on partial fraction decomposition. I'm not going to go over that here because we've done it in past lessons. But anyway, we use partial fraction decomposition to rewrite this so that each term in the denominator here has its own fraction. So that should sound somewhat familiar. And notice that these two terms will be separated by a minus sign. Okay, that's pretty much required, that needs to be a minus sign. Well, then when we go through this new form of our series after partial fraction decomposition, and we start substituting in values of n, well, we get 1 when we let n equals to 1. We get 1 over 1 is 1, minus 1 over 1 plus 2 is 1/2. This, by the way, should be a minus. All right, that's an error. Hope somebody's got to let OpenStax know that that's an error. That should be a minus sign. Okay, so you have 1 minus 1/2, and then this is when n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3, on and on and on and on. So what you notice happens here is that what's going to happen, and this is crucial, this minus 1/2 and plus 1/2 cancel out. Minus 1/3 plus 1/3 cancel out. And that's going to happen all the way down the line as far as we go with this until we get to the very last term. So the very first term in this case and the very last term, which would be minus 1 over n plus 1, because we're going to go to the nth term, everything else cancels out. And so all we would be left with is 1 minus 1 over n plus 1. All right? And then all we have to do is take the limit of that. Then we want to take the limit of that, and we take the limit of that, it's going to end up being equal to 1. So this series converges to 1. And this is called a telescoping series, as it explains down here. So a telescoping series is a series in which most of the terms cancel in each of the partial sums, leaving only some of the first terms and some of the last terms. Now, not every telescoping series will cancel out the exact same way, as you'll see. So let's just do a couple of quick examples. These are very time-consuming, by the way, if you haven't already figured that out. So this is the one that we just did. We're just looking at here. So I'm kind of just going through and doing it. So by partial fractions, we know that we end up with this. And so b is equal to a -1. So we end up with what we've already taken a look at. And so we can see that these cancel, all the way down the line. They're going to cancel until, as I already said, you have that last term and you have your first term. So we end up with 1 minus 1 over n minus 1. And so they'll take the limit of that is 1, so it converges to 1. So the most time-consuming part of these tends to be doing the partial fraction decomposition. Let's take a look at the second example. In the second example, I don't go through the partial fraction decomposition. In fact, I kind of leave a lot to your imagination here, because you just have to kind of write out all of these terms. So this is what we get when we do the partial fraction decomposition. And so when you start writing out the terms, you have to keep writing out terms until you see a pattern of things canceling out. So when n is equal to 1, we get 1/2 minus 1/4. When n is equal to 2, we get this, 3, 4, on and on and on until we get to the nth term. and we get to the nth term. So what seems to be happening here is these terms start canceling out about here. And so as you can continue on, everything is going to ultimately start canceling out from here on in. The 1/6 will cancel, and then the 1/7 will cancel. But what is not going to cancel, and again, do this out a few more terms and you will see, are these two terms at the beginning are not going to cancel out. And then what you're going to see at the end is that a couple of terms at the end do not cancel out. And that's the tricky part, is going all the way to the end and determining which terms are not going to cancel out. So this is what we end up with. This is our series. And so we just take the limit of this. And so the limit, this is going to go to 0. This is going to go to 0. So what we have are these two terms, which is 5/6. So it converges to 5/6. I think that is it for this video. I might do another video once you guys get to this section. Well, of course, if you're watching this video, you are at this section, although I'm making this video about 2 months before you get to it. So at that time, I will probably make another video on telescoping series if you guys need me to. All right, that's it. This is a short one. Have a good day.